coming out for this lunch time. And I know it's lunch period for most of us. And for those who joined yesterday, congratulations for making this time out again for today. And it's really an honor for me to be part of the ICF week to share, things that are really practical, things that can be used and applied for coaches. Because I believe that coaching has to be practical. Coaching has to be usable and implementable by people and coaches all around the world. Many times we as coaches, we hear a lot of really big ideas, big concepts, strategies, which are really good. But sometimes we ask ourselves, how do we apply all those things? How do we actualize them? So one of the big things on my pursuit is that how do I actualize, things and concepts and strategies that's out there and make them, tangible, make them useful for all coaches around the world. So having worked with coaches from different parts of the continent and also different parts of kind of culture and different backgrounds, I think one of the most interesting ways and a lot of stories that I heard from coaches is this: how do I price or position my coaching packages? How do I find the right niche? How do I increase my sale in the coaching journey? How do I become a coach who's prosperous? So if you have those questions, welcome for this webinar. So in this webinar, how we do it is in the coaching style. So I'm going to ask a few questions. Any point of time you have any questions, comments, thoughts, insights, ideas, do drop a text over here, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask me. So it's a two-way thing, right? So don't be shy to share your thoughts, share your struggles with us here. And let's look forward to a great time together. Okay, so before we start, when we think about this topic today that we have about high-ticket closing, have any of you heard of what high-ticket closing is? You can either raise your hand, so you can put yes, you can put no on the chat box. So Penny says, yeah, getting the big bucks. Okay, that's great. Now, okay, so Teresa says, no, more in real estate closing. Yeah. Now, one of the things is for coaches, the big reality is this: we enjoy the art of coaching. We enjoy the moment of coaching. But when it comes to the dollars and cents, what happens to coaches? Most of the time, we run away. Right? So when I ask coaches, hey, what do you like about coaching? Oh, I love everything about coaching. I love engaging people. I love having the conversation with them. I love experiencing the breakthrough with the clients. But I don't like selling. I don't like, closing the client. Now, to me, one of the big things that coaches have to have is two things, two different skills. One is your ability to improve skills as a coach. The second is your ability to scale as a coach. So let me put the thoughts here on this chat box so you can see. So the first key is to improve your skills as a coach. The second is your ability to scale as a coach. Because if we cannot scale our coaching practice, we have no clients. So I always tell my coaches from across different parts of the world, and I say, hey, coaches, if you have no clients, you are not a coach. A coach without a client is not a coach, right? And just as in the same way, a coach who is not able to close a client is also not a coach. Because like it or not, in our coaching practice, whether we are receiving clients or whether we are creating clients, clients need to engage us, clients need to know us, and at the end of the day, the big question comes: how do we charge our clients? How do we price our clients? And one of the big things that people feel is that, oh, I cannot charge them because it's wrong to charge them. I cannot charge them because, coaching should be free. Coaching should be for everybody. So to me, one of the things I ask coaches, I say, first, if we cannot feed ourselves and create sustenance for ourselves, how can we help more people in the coaching practice? So these two keys we're going to talk about today into the high ticket closing through deep coaching. So let's put on the chat box here what questions that comes to your mind when you are pricing your coaching practice. First thought that comes to your mind. What are some questions that you have when you're thinking about pricing your coaching practice? You can unmute yourself, or you can type some questions here on the chat box on the right.
I think one question is, how much should an ACC, PCC, MCC coach get paid? And what kind of packages do you create? What is acceptable by the market? So this is one question that often gets asked by people.
Great. Thanks, Evnie. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So,
Yes.
yeah, so she'll ask, how do we price ACC, PCC, MCC? Can an ACC charge more than MCC? Can an MCC charge much more? Or if I just finish my ACSTH program, or if I finish my ACTP program, or if I finish some of the CCE programs, can I charge my clients more than an ACC, PCC, or MCC? Who thinks, if by a show of hands, right, you can raise your hands here, I will see there, who thinks that an ACC cannot charge higher than the PCC, or a PCC cannot charge higher than MCC? Who thinks that? You can raise your hands over the side, or you can put, yeah, I don't think they can charge higher. Any thoughts? No right or wrong, right? So just, do you think that the ACC can charge higher, PCC can charge higher, than the higher levels of accreditation? Or can someone fresh off the boat, just finish their ACSTH hours, preparing for the ACC, can they price higher? Anyone, any thoughts? Depends on the coach. Yeah, so I would say quality and skills matter. Yeah. One of the things that many coaches, when they come to me, they say, hey, I'm struggling. How do I price? How do I position? How do I package? Do I charge per session? Do I charge per hour? Do I charge per result? Do I charge per this? I would say this, right? The biggest thing is this. If you ask that question, how should I price and how should I charge? Then you have not answered the fundamental question. What it really is coaching? What is coaching for you? Today, I've helped coaches, who have just finished the ACSTH, and some of them are charging much higher than the stats of an MCC. Some of the ACC are pricing their packages higher than people who have achieved their PCC or MCC. It has nothing to do with just the skills, because skills itself may not drive you that sale. You can have someone who's highly confident in their skill, but they're not able to close a client, because closing is a totally different skill than coaching. Yes, closing is a different skill than coaching. Now, many coaches who are very confident in their skills, they're able to create breakthroughs for the client, but not able to close a client. Why? Because they've not learned the art of closing. Now, when we talk about closing, it's different from selling. Closing and selling are two different worlds. When we say closing, it's the transaction where your client transfer something to you. For example, a monetary value, right? What we're saying is in dollars and cents. So for example, when there's a transfer in value and the deal is sealed, for example, if a client pays you $1,000 for a coaching session, that becomes a transference of value. That is the sale, it's done. If a client says, hey, can you send me a proposal, right? Let me think about it. The sale is not done. The close has not happened. So for the close to happen, the transaction must happen. You receive the payment in return for the value you receive. So many questions that coaches always say, hey, what is the average stats for people who are in the ACC? How much do they earn? Generally, if you look at the ICF website, $50, $100, $150, PCC $500, $750, MCC $1,000 to $3,000 to $5,000. So, however, the disparity is large, right? Does it mean that I have to charge $500 first or $100 first, then I can increase $1,000 to $5,000? What do you think the answer is? Must you go through all the levels to achieve the next level of pricing? Who says yes? No.
No.
So Penny says no, right?
No.
No. Evnie also says no. Yeah, you don't have to. So think about this, right? There's no difference in ACC, PCC, MCC in terms of the ability to price. Why? Because think about this. When you are establishing a coaching practice, are you establishing a 1-star hotel, a 2-star hotel, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotel. I often tell coaches, I said, hey, is your coaching practice a 5-star coaching practice or a 1-star? If you look at Ritz-Carlton, I love to spend time with my clients at Ritz-Carlton, and I say, hey, if you're in Ritz-Carlton, the Ritz-Carlton first started as a 1-star hotel. They charge $50 an hour a night, to $100 a night, to $200 a night, to $300 a night. No, Ritz-Carlton, when they first established, they positioned themselves as a 5-star hotel. Today, they probably 5 to a 6-star hotel. So when you think about coaching practice, it's similar in the sense, because we don't start off as a 1-star coach, 2-star coach, 3-star to a 5-star coach. You got to position yourself as a 5-star coaching experience for your client. Because if the level at which you position is that level you can charge, because it doesn't make sense that today you price yourself $50, next week $500, following week $500, next week $1,000. It's confusing to the clients. So decide today what level of experience you want your client to feel. So this experience has nothing to do with your skills. So your skills can complement their experience, but the experience is what you want to create for your client. So I'll give you an example. When you enter Starbucks, why is it that Starbucks is able to price in coffee? Like I just came from one of the, not Starbucks, I came from another store. It's called Mellower, right? It's in Jewel, it's in Bugis, and everywhere. And their coffee like this, a little cup of latte, costs about $6, $7. Why are they able to price that? When I go to a kopitiam, it's only 60 cents. When I do it at home, it's less than 10 cents. Why would I spend like so much more money, $6, to just buy a cup of same coffee? Because I'm not buying the coffee, I'm buying the experience. Coaching is not, we're not selling the clients the concept of coaching, we're selling the experience of coaching for our clients. Because all of us in the whole coaching arena, we are coaching to create and change lives and transform lives. So it's an experience that the client is facing. So today we ask ourselves, do we want our clients to experience a 1-star experience, 2-star, 3-star, 5-star, or even 6-star experience? What kind of experience do you want to create? So think about that as we go through this whole journey together, right? And some of you also ask, like, do I price higher or lower than other coaches out there? Should I price higher? So let's say there's this new incumbent coach that comes in. Oh, I just graduate. I just received my ACC. Oh, can I price higher or should I price lower? To get into the market first. I said that's when you will struggle. A struggling coach is a coach that looks out there and looks at market pricing and say, okay, I should charge this, I should charge that based on what the market says. We don't do that, right? The moment you do that, what happens is that then you become price sensitive, right? You become price competitive, which means that if there's a coach that charges $500, you would then price it at $400. That will affect the quality and experience of your coaching. So to me, when people ask me, why do I price the way I price for my coaching practice? I tell coaches all the time, I'm pricing it not for me. I'm pricing it for the client. If I price myself as a $50 coach, what do you think the client will experience? He will experience a $50 experience. If I price a $500 per session, the client will experience a $500 session. If I price at the $5,000 per session, the client will experience a $5,000 session. It has nothing to do with the skills, although skills do play a part, but it's all about the transference of value. Because the pain of departing with $50 psychologically creates a gap in the client. So the client's now more attentive. If you now imagine this, right? Some of us have experienced, getting buying something, right? If you buy a cheap pen like this, right? Let's say a pen very cheap, $1 or 10 cents. What would you do with this pen? You would just, would you take care of it? Would you rub it? Would you look at it and study it? No, you will not. You would just throw it one side, right? And whenever you use it, just throw it one side. But if today you go to a Mont Blanc shop and you spend $500 or $1,000 on a pen, the same thing that this pen can do. So in terms of the competence of these two pens, they're the same. They provide the same function, which is to draw, which is to write. But the experience is different. The experience of holding a $500, $1,000 pen, it's different from a dollar pen. Why? What would I do with a $500, $1,000 pen? I will make sure I take care of it. And when would I use it? I will use it with a client of high value. So when you think about the world of high ticket closing, high ticket sales, it's all about understanding the value that we bring to our clients. So let me just write this down. What value do we bring to our clients today? So let's ask this question. What value do you bring as a coach to your clients today? Because if you can answer that question, you can answer how should you price your service. Who would like to try, right? So you can type there as I'm going through the slides so we can come back to this. So everyone can try this, right? What value are you bringing to your clients today? So we were focusing on high ticket closing today through deep coaching. And why do I say deep coaching? So this is a carry on from yesterday. So imagine yesterday was Infinity War, today is the end game, right? And this ties in very nicely with yesterday's topic on deep inner work coaching, because we truly believe that coaching, it's all about going deeper with your clients than ever before, helping them see the world differently. So we look at high ticket closing through coaching. We're looking at what's the one skill that you need that can be applied in all areas of your life. So today, coaches says, oh, should I learn social media marketing? Should I learn digital marketing? Should I, there's a lot of ads. How many coaches here have seen ads blasting at Facebook, blasting on LinkedIn, blasting on YouTube saying, hey, if you want to be a coach, sign up for my social media course, sign up for my Facebook ads, sign up for my funnel, sign up for my this, for my that, for my this. How many have experienced that?
Yep, regularly.
Regularly, right? And it's so frustrating. And many people come to me and say, hey, must I go and learn Facebook ads? Must I learn YouTube ads? Must I learn all this? Must I learn videos? Must I learn LinkedIn? Must I learn personal branding? Then the whole arena of coaches become very confused. So then coaches get confused. When coaches are confused, what happens? We have no idea where to go. And then the pricing becomes really tough. So what happens was this, right? Do you need to do ads to get clients? Do you need to do social media marketing to get clients? Do you need to do Facebook ads? Do you need a YouTube ads? The simple answer is no. I help my clients, I help my coaches create a coaching practice based on referral and invitation only. And they qualify highly qualified clients who are able to pay, who are able to afford at the highest level. Because if you think about this, if you put an ad on social media, Facebook, what signal are you sending out to your clients? How many of you have seen what we call coffee coaches? Today, I'm very disturbed by seeing a lot of ads online say, hey, come and attend, experience my coaching session. Just buy me a coffee. This is what we call coffee coaches, right? It's a very negative experience, because what does this do to our entire organization as coaches? What does it do to all of us here as coaches? It's telling the entire society, telling the organizations out there, it devalues our worth as coaches to them. Because today, the perception of organizations is, oh, coaching is cheap. Coaching is just like a cup of coffee. So today I tell coaches, do not position yourself as coffee coaches. You either price it or you give it. So if you position as a coffee coach, guess what? You will get coffee clients. The quality of clients is the same, is the relation of the quality of the price that you set. If I go to a 6-star, 5-star hotel, what kind of clientele do I have? A 5-star or 6-star client. They will be dressed nicely, they'll be dressed comfortably. If I go to a 1-star hotel, what kind of clients do I get? People in their slippers, their shorts. So the quality of your clients that you're serving is direct proportion to the kind of quality of value that you position yourself as. In the same way, when you think about this, going to a luxury store, when people go to a luxury store, what kind of products do you see? Do people bargain for it? No, right? You go into a Gucci store and you purchase a bag. Do you ask for a discount from the person? Nobody ever asks, right? And they will charge you thousands of dollars for a bag that you can get same function, but you can get at a Pasar Malam for $10. So if you go to the night market or Pasar Malam in Singapore, or for our overseas friends, like a bargain store, right? You get a bag. What do you do in the bargain store? Even though the bag is $10, you will ask for more discount. So you see, when we position our experience at the lower level, we get low level clients. So the entire experience of coaching, it's at the lowest of level. But when we position an experience at that level, at a certain level that you want, you create a different kind of experience. But does it mean that we cannot serve the clients on the masses? Yes, you can serve. But the bigger question we ask ourselves is this: how do we create sustainable income for ourselves? Because as coaches, if this is your full-time business, if this is your part-time business, we got to think about first, how do we sustain ourselves as coaches before we help the masses? So today I have many coaches come to me and say, hey, I want to help all the poor people out there. I want to help all these people, but I have no money. I said, the poor cannot help the poor. We have to be financially able and stable and sustainable to be able to help more people. Today, the ICF as well is helping so many different organizations. They are able to do that because they have a whole membership pool who are able to contribute, who are able to volunteer their time and effort. In the same way, this is what I tell coaches. If you want to help the masses and the poor, charge the rich, help the poor in the same niche that you're looking at. So if you look at brands today, you have brands that have positioned high, right, which have high prices, and brands that also have, they create a separate brand to help the masses as well. So think about this, right? What value do you bring your clients today? And just now, earlier on, we asked this question: what is that one skill that we need that we can apply in every single area of life? What is the one skill that can help you close at a higher ticket level? Anyone want to try venture a guess? You can type in the chat box. What is the one skill that you need that can be applied in all areas of your life? What is that one skill?
Self-belief and confidence.
Self-belief and confidence. Okay. Anyone else? Quality and skills, communication. Okay. Anything else? What is that one skill that you can use across all areas, even your selling process, even the closing process? Engagement. Okay. Okay. Actually, all of you know this answer. The one skill that all of us need is our coaching skill. Coaching is conversational mastery. Let me put that down. Coaching is conversational mastery. At the highest level of conversation or communication or engagement or negotiation is coaching. Today, I teach coaches. I teach negotiation using coaching competencies. I teach persuasion using coaching competencies. I teach sales using coaching competencies. I teach every single thing, leadership, using the same coaching competencies. Why is it that we're able to apply coaching competencies across all these different fields? Because all these fields, at the bottom line, they're looking at a conversation between two parties. Negotiation is a conversation between two parties. It can be one-to-many or one-to-one. Persuasion, influence, leadership. So if you look at an organization, every single level in teams, leadership, all require communication skills. So the one skill that we need that can be applied in all areas of lives, whether it's a family life, with our parents, with our children, with our loved ones, it's communication. And all of us as coaches, you have that skill. That's your coaching skill, your coaching competency. So as coaches, we go deeper in our coaching competencies than ever before to master the skill of coaching, because it's conversational mastery. If we can do that, then we can use that very skill to close our high ticket sale. So I'm going to show you, all of you, very practically how you can close a high ticket sale using coaching skills. And that's what I've been teaching all around the world, right? It sounds like, no brainer, but that is it, right? I like to make things very simple. So are you guys ready for it? How do you use coaching and close your client? So that's the question that we want to ask, right? How do we close our clients for coaching engagements that we want to have, whether it's one session, packages, and whatever, that doesn't leave a bad taste and the stress on us as coaches of the selling process? I have coaches that come to me and say, hey, I don't want to sell because selling is like so crazy, it's like it's stressing me out. It's giving me a lot of bad taste. I tell them, right, today, there's two kinds of coaches. Either you are coach-preneur or you're a coach-ployee. Either you wait for clients to be given to you by the organization, or you are creating clients as a coach-preneur. A coach-ployee may not have a sustainable coaching practice because you are at the mercy of the organization. What if the organization doesn't give you any clients to coach? So as coaches, we need to learn how to create our own clients. Because the art of creating your own clients is the very coaching process itself. Every single conversation, every single sale happens in a conversation. So look at this. So in every conversation, there's a seller in every conversation, and there's a sold in every conversation. So just like today, right? When we are having a conversation like this, every conversation has a seller and a buyer. The one who's being sold to and the one who's selling. The one who's being influenced and the one who's influencing. The one who's persuaded and the one who's persuading. The one who's negotiating and the one who is being negotiated. So in every conversation, there's two persons, the seller and the one who's being sold. In the same way, when we apply coaching as well, in the context of coaching, there's always a seller and a buyer. So either our clients tell us that, hey, oh, sorry, I cannot afford you. Or the seller is convinced by us that, yes, they must take action today, get us on board their lives or their workplace to improve their life in a greater way. So think about this, right? So you either sell or you get sold in every conversation. So think about the times when you tried to ask your clients for a sale. Was it difficult? Was it easy? What happened? So are you selling or are you being sold? Are you closing or is the client closing you? So even in a coaching conversation as well, sometimes you may have clients that tell you their stories and coaches may buy into the story. So we are sold to their story. We are sold to their idea that they cannot afford coaching or they don't have time for coaching or they cannot do coaching right now. So then coaches get disappointed because they try their best, they give all out, but they cannot close the client. So today ask yourself, are you selling or are you being sold to? So stop selling. We're going to start closing today. So in the whole process of the sales process for coaches, it's all about closing the client. And the close happens right at the start. Right before the client ever say a word to you, the close has happened. Because the engagement has happened with the client. So what is selling? What is closing? That's what it's going to explore. And how we're going to apply the coaching into here. So just a recap from yesterday, for those of you who missed this out, when I say deep inner work coaching, it's the inner journey to unravel the depths of our clients to help create alignment between what they want and what's preventing them from achieving it. It's a discovery process of self-awareness that works on values, beliefs, neurological patterning to effect the greatest positive impact on the client. So applying the same coaching concept in closing, and closing in high-ticket closing, it's all about an exchange of value between a coach and a client. Why do I say high-ticket closing? Because I believe that coaches should sell high-ticket items. So high-ticket closing is closing at least a 3 to 4 figure digit per client. Meaning to say that you're closing your client for a package of at least $1,000 and above. So high-ticket closing looks at how do you package your price at $1,000 and above. When you have to pay for a coach $1,000, the impact is different. So let's ask this question: how many of you right now have coaches? How many have your own coach? And how much are you paying your coach? Feel free to drop your thoughts there. How many of you have engaged your own personal coach? And how much are you paying your personal coach right now? Anyone? Pro bono with another fellow coach? Okay, anyone else? Plenty of reciprocal coaching. Yeah. Any of you are currently paying for your own coach in dollars and cents? 5,000 for 6 months? Okay. Great. Now, I always tell coaches one hard truth. A coach without a coach is probably not experiencing coaching at the highest level, right? A coach must have a coach, because how do we allow our clients to believe in coaching when we as coaches don't believe coaching enough to get a coach? So to that extent, we have actually invested in coaching ourselves. That is to the extent that we're able to convince someone else to pay. For example, if today I want to charge $1,000 per session, I must have experienced myself. What is it like to actually pay for $1,000 coaching? Because you have not experienced what is it like to save that money to afford $1,000 coach. How then do we tell our clients that my coaching is worth $1,000? Because we will not be able to experience what a client is going through, the emotions, the thoughts, the thinkings, the beliefs, everything that's surging in their mind. So I would encourage coaches, get a coach, but you don't just want to get any ordinary coach. You want to get a coach that's able to help you to transform your practice in a greater way than ever before. So I always tell coaches, right? Find a coach that fits your practice the best. You can find any coach, but make sure that the coach is not just, you can have a very great coach, but a great coach is not able to help you become a great coach. I know many coaches who are very good at what they do, but they're not able to help and translate that to another coach to help them become great. Today, we ask this question. How many of you here want to be great coaches? Who wants to be great coaches? Any of you want to be great coaches? Yeah? Ever heard of this concept, going from good to great? So if you are thinking about going from good to great, that is not good. Because there's so many great coaches out there. And because there's so many great coaches out there, that is causing you a lot of pain. In fact, the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, right? If I ever get a chance to meet him, maybe soon, right? In a couple of years' time, when I travel over there to meet him, I would tell him, hey, we got to move away from good to great. Because good to great is good, is great. But that doesn't help you to stand out in front of everybody. You want to be a coach that's not just a great coach. You want to be a coach that is what is the four-letter word? But you don't want just to be a great coach, but you want to be the coach that is, okay, so I'll hang there for you guys like a little cliffhanger, and I'll tell you, and I'll review these four-letter words at the end. Okay? So we're going to look at how you can transform your entire coaching practice from just being a great coach to be the coach. Okay? And that has direct relation to actually how you're actually going to price your coaching practice. So let's move on to this part here. What do our clients tell us? This is what our clients tell us. They'll say, hey, after going through an amazing coaching session with you, they say, hey, no, let me think about it. No, I don't think coaching is for me. I don't understand what coaching is. I like it, but not now. I'm okay. I'm not sure. The price is too expensive. Huh? Must be money. Oh, I got to ask my spouse. I got to ask my wife. I got to ask my husband. So one of the things is this, right? They may say all these questions to us, but what is the client actually saying? If the client says, no, let me think about it. I like it, but not now. I'm okay. I got to ask my spouse. I'm not sure. What are they actually telling us? What is it that's really they're charging us? So this is where we apply our coaching competencies. So think about this. When we are applying active listening, which core competency is that? Number 5, right? So I always like to relate the core competency back to even the coaching practice. Core competency number 5 is active listening, and we're listening for what the client is saying and what they're not saying. So when our clients are saying all this to us, what they're not really saying is this. There's something that has not been addressed. There's some clarity or alignment that's not been addressed. Because if they're really clear and they're aligned, they will either say these two things, yes or no. There's no in between. It's either a full yes or a full no. If they say I'm stuck in the middle, yes, no, it just tells us that there is no clarity. So when we apply active listening, we're hearing the things that the client is not saying. So then we got to go deeper with the client to discover what is actually holding them back. Because if we cannot figure out what's holding them back, there's no way we can position it for them. So this is what they usually say. I got no want, no money, no need, no urgency, no desire. And one of the greatest no's that I always hear is no trust. So coaches tell me that the clients always say, hey, I do not know you, right? How can I sign up a package with you if I do not know you? So imagine this, most coaches will always give what we call a chemistry session or a free session in the front and then charge them the fee. So, but the client tells them, hey, but I do not know you. I do not know whether I can trust you to pay you $1,000 or $2,000 for that service. So the biggest no that we as coaches you always face is a sense of no trust with the client. How do we unravel that? How do we turn that around? How do we help our clients to build that trust again? Because if you can build this trust with the client, you can charge and price your packages as high as you want or as low as you want. So we're going to explore that, right? So think about this. How can you create trust with your client that they want to go all out with you? So if you missed the session yesterday, we talked about the speed of trust. How do you create a speed of trust with a client? Because you only have that moments with a client. I have had clients when I spoke to, on the very first session, we closed them for a package, for a coaching package. In the same way, how do we begin to think about a package? Think about this, right? How do we create trust with our clients that they are fully on board with us? So this is called competency number 3, establishing trust and intimacy. And this correlates to your ability to close the client on the first or second session with them. Because if you cannot establish the trust and intimacy, no matter how good are we at coaching, we will not have a client. Because without a client, we are not a coach, right? It's just the same. A leader without followers is not a leader because there's nobody to lead. The same way, if there's no client to coach, we are not coaches. So we need to create client constantly. So let me give you my 5 keys to high ticket closing, okay? Before I answer all the questions. So the 5 keys. So meanwhile, think about the questions that you may have and ask me. You can private PM me on this chat box, or you can post on the chat box for everyone to see. So after I've covered these 5 keys, we'll address all the questions there. Okay, so this is the first key that we got to think about. How do we increase our high ticket closing? So by high ticket, we mean at least $1,000 and above. At least $1,000 and above. 4 digits and above, right? It can be in USD, it can be Sing dollars, it can be whichever dollars you're using. In our context, I'm using Sing dollars, right? 1,000 Sing dollars and above.
Is that per session?
Per session. Per session.
Oh, okay, so the value you're saying would be per session $1,000, right, and above?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, no problem. Do all of you want to earn $1,000 per session? That's a bigger question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about these 5 keys. That's very, very important if you want to do high ticket closing for your coaching sessions, right? So why do I say 1,000 and above? Because the psychological barrier to cross from a 3-digit to a 4-digit is a big hurdle. Just like if you're going to cross from a 2-digit to a 3-digit is a big hurdle for clients. So if you talk anything about high ticket, it's above 1,000 and above per session. So this is, and by session, again, it depends on every coach practice. Some coaches I know, their session is 2 hours long. Some coaches I know, their session is 60 minutes long. Some coaches is 45 minutes long. So again, the session means that one-on-one session with the client or one to many session with them. So this 5 keys. First key is here in the moment. For the client to experience coaching at the highest level, you need to be very present with the client. And why is this important? Because when you're here with the client, I'm not thinking about how am I going to close the client. I'm just being focused with the client. I'm just wondering, how can I help the client go deeper than ever before? How can I create a connection that dives deep? How do I create that rapport, that deeper sense and trust? Because if I'm talking to the client and I'm thinking about how do I close him, how do I price him and everything, I'm not in the moment with him. I've lost the coaching presence. So that is competency number 4, right? Coaching presence, being in the moment. And in this moment, we are dancing with the client. Either you're dancing or you're dancing with the clients in that moment. So moment by moment conversation with the client is important. And sometimes conversations, you have to slow down the conversation to go faster. The faster you try to close, sometimes you will lose the sale. So sometimes the slower the conversation, when you give spaciousness with the client, it helps so that the client is also in the moment with you. And in that moment, we're able to hear what the client is saying and what the client is not saying as well. Number 2, creating the experience. Creating the experience. So high ticket closing, if you want to charge at 1,000 and above, it's all about creating the experience for the client. Because no sale ever happened outside of a conversation. And high ticket closing requires creating powerful conversation that inspires change. You want your clients to leave you thinking, hey, that was something thought provoking. That is something I've never thought about before. Because if your coaching session at the end, when the client leaves you and they say, okay, lor, the session was okay. But if the client has never had a chance to have a deep dive in their life, they will never experience that thought-provoking process. And which is why I tell coaches all the time, right? If ever you need to do coaching, it must always be in two folds. One, coaching is a co-creation process through a thought-provoking and creative process. And this too is very important. If we can create a thought-provoking process and creative, this inspires the client. Because now in the conversation, when the client is in that moment with you, they feel, wow, I've never thought about that before. They feel so involved, they feel so engaged, and they create possibilities they never thought happened before. So creating an experience is really important. So imagine this: when you first entered, let's say you enter the store, like in Singapore, right? Recently, Jewel just opened in Changi Airport. So when you first enter Jewel, you are entering an experience. You could absorb into the experience. And in that moment, most of us forget about the queue, forget about the masses, but we're just in awe of how on earth did they create this amazing place. So that experience is important because in that experience, you create moments of magic, what we call magical moments in coaching. The third key is attuning to the client's world. So we got to appreciate the client's world for what they are and help them gain the self-awareness about what their world is like so that they can go deeper. If we can attune to the client's world and when they know that we are there with them, they will begin to open up with us because people don't really care how much we know as a coach, right? We can be a coach of 1,000 different tools, but nobody really cares. I'd rather be a coach of one or two tools than a coach of 1,000 different tools. Today, I have coaches that come to me and ask me, say, hey, Jedi, should I, learn this new coaching technique? Should I learn that new coaching technique? Oh, recently there's this something new. Should I learn? Should I learn? I said, learning is good. But if you're learning just for the sake of learning, then it's not going to help you. So Bruce Lee once said this, right? He said he's more weary of the man who has practiced a kick 1,000 times than a man who has 1,000 different kicks. So that ability to practice again and again and again in that one skill is key. And what is that skill? Your coaching competencies, the 11 core competencies, right? That's all you need, right? I show clients all the time how to use the 11 competencies to close the sale, to negotiate, to persuade, to influence. And by using that, we can attune into the client's world by asking powerful questions, by diving deep with the clients, using active listening to hear what the client is not saying, and explore the world and create that awareness for your client. And sometimes using metaphors in the whole process to generate new ideas. E4, open the decision. In the closing process, leave the client to justify on the inside. And the openness in the decision matrix leaves the client with the open decision. So we never want to be in a position and say, hey, are you going to buy now? Are you going to? No, we want the client to say, hey, I will always leave the client with this question, right? What would you like to do next? Leaving it open. Because if I tell him what he should do, the door is closed. So most coaches do this, right? At the end of the coaching conversation, they say, hey, so would you like to sign up one session or 12 sessions with me? Would you like to pay for the first session or the 10 package session? But when you do that, you are leading them and your questioning becomes a leading question. Then it becomes you are imposing your thoughts to them. You want them to sell themselves. And how do we do that? I always ask this question, right? What would you like to do next? So once you explored the coaching agreement with them and they encountered coaching at a greater level, they experienced coaching like never before, it was thought-provoking, it was creative, it was so exciting and so fun for them, then you ask them, hey, what would you like to do next? Wait for the client to say. Be silent, wait for the client to say. And the client will often say, well, how can I have more sessions like this? And that's when you begin to close your close, right? When the client says, okay, well, how else can I experience this? You then offer your client, well, I have a coaching package that does this, right, for the next 12 sessions, and this is what we can do together to experience coaching, to experience your breakthrough, to help you create breakthroughs that you want. So always leave the openness in the decision-making matrix. Never tell the client straight away, create the openness. What would you like to do next? So that is my most powerful question that I always like to leave coaches with. At the end of the conversation, don't tell them to sign up 1-2 package. Let them be the one to ask you. Because when they ask you, they are selling themselves. So just like in many of my programs, right, when I do coaching, when I do the ICF certification for ACSTH or for my other programs for ACC, PCC, MCC, I never introduce myself to the class, right? The students will know. I will go on the class, they only know my name, but at the end of the session, they ask me, hey, Jedidiah, you've not introduced yourself, can you tell us more about your background? And I purposely do that because it's not so much about me. In the coaching process, it's not so much about us. It's everything to do with your client. Because if we focus on ourselves, then we are just selling ourselves. But in the coaching process, it's all about the client. Because the client is not going to care how much we are, how much credentials we have, until they know how much we care for them. So just like yesterday, I talked about this empathetic resonance. Right? If you get a chance to get a recording about empathetic resonance, we talk about that and how that is important for the entire client. So key number 4, open decision matrix. And key number 5, it's commitment to now. So get your clients to say either a yes, an all yes, or a straight no answer. So for example, when I have my client who comes to me and they enjoy the program and they say they want to carry on with me, I ask them this question: what would you like to do next? And they say, well, I like your program. I want to sign up with you. I want to do this with you. Then I say, great. How would you like to begin? So get an answer, whether it's an all yes and all no. The worst kind of clients to get is that the clients is in the fence. Well, I think I should do, maybe not, right? Maybe not. Whenever that happens, it creates confusion. So I'd rather have the clients at the end of the session to say, okay, is it a yes or no? If it's no, it's okay, right? Let's move on, rather than staying in the middle. So if the client says no, at least you know why he's objecting. If the client says yes, at least you also know what is his way forward. So this part here, key number 5, is all about designing the action forward. How do we design action for the client to take, to say yes or no to your coaching practice? Right? So you get 5 keys. Commitment. So let me just sum it up. Commitment, openness of the discussion or of the decision matrix, attuning the client's will, creating the experience, and being here in the moment, moment by moment by moment. So good questions. So now let me open the floor to more questions, right? Let me answer, beginning with one of these questions. It says, hey, how do we help a client sitting on the fence to make a decision? So this is what I asked the client, right? What is holding you back? What is missing in today's conversation that can help you make that decision? So sometimes when the client is sitting on the fence and they're not saying a yes or not saying a no, it's because they are missing some information. And sometimes it's not just missing information. Sometimes it's an emotional feeling because it's quite scary for them, right? Imagine this. Nobody, so this is a big truth, right? If you want to write this down, nobody has a budget for coaching. Nobody has it. We have a budget for buying bags, we have a budget for buying a phone, we have a budget for buying a pen, but we never had a budget for coaching. Why? Because in our society, in this part of the world, coaching is still growing, right? So not many people know about coaching, but which is a great market for us. So then how then do we get them to get on board our program? Is to help them see the value in this conversation that we have. What kind of value are we bringing to the client? So what if they say they want to think about it and get back to you? So great. This is what I tell them. What would you like to think about? Ask them nicely, right? What would you like to think about? What are some information that you need to help you think about? Because when your clients tell you they want to think about it, what are they actually asking? So what are they actually not saying? So think about this, right? I'm using competency number 4, active listening, hearing what the client is saying and what the client is not saying. So let's ask the ground. When the client says they want to think about it, what are they actually saying? That they're not saying, right? So what are they not saying?
Probably there is something that they don't understand or require more information.
Yeah, right. So probably they require some information, but at the higher level, there's a lack of clarity. So somewhere along the lines, whatever the decision, there's a lack of clarity. I give an example. Yesterday I talked about the chocolate. How many of you like chocolates, right? I like chocolates, right? I like Godiva's chocolates. I like all kinds of chocolates. So when we think about eating a chocolate, for chocolate lovers out there, do you have to struggle when someone offers you chocolate? No, you don't, right? Imagine a delicious hot tub of Godiva's chocolate or Ferrero Rocher or Kinder Bueno. Would you say to the person, when the person's offering you, would you like to have some chocolate? Would you say, let me think about it? No, you're absolutely clear you want to eat the chocolate because there's clarity between who you are and what you want to do, and there's alignment, and so the resultant action is very clear. So whenever a client says, I want to think about it, along the lines of between who they are and what they want to do, there's a misalignment. So what they want to do and what they which they are doing and who they are, there's a misalignment somewhere. So that's when we ask them, what would you like to think about? What is missing into this conversation that can help you make the decision? What information do you need to help you think through? When you ask that question, you are revealing to them or giving them self-awareness that actually maybe it's not so much about they think about it. Maybe it's a feeling on the inside. I'm not sure. I'm uncertain. So this one, I'll tell the client, I said, would you like to be absolutely certain? What if I can help you to be totally fear-free, right? Fearless. So you don't have to worry about whether this is the right decision or not. And then they say, yes. So that's what I tell them. I said, okay, great. Well, you make the payment today, you will be completely free of any fear and worries. Right. So you can have a little tease with a client and say, hey, if you're still feeling uncertain, no worries. You make a payment today, I guarantee you'll be absolutely certain of your decision. So sometimes the struggle is more of an emotional, irrational decision struggle than very much of any logical struggle. Okay, so someone asked, what does an average ACC PCC charge? Okay, so let me write this down. ACC typically charges 50 to 150 or sometimes $200. PCC typically charge 250 to 500. MCC typically 1,000 to 5,000 per session. We're talking about per session. I have coaches who have trained who have not even gotten their ACC because they are so busy with handling so many clients that today they're charging 7 figures. So it's possible, right? ACC, PCC, MCC is a good effort for you to know where you are in terms of your coaching competency. But that is a very different skill from closing a client. So even when you close a client, I'm still using the same core competencies to flow the client through these 5 different keys to close for them. Okay, great. What other questions that anyone has?
Thank you, Jedi. Does anyone else have questions that you would like to ask? We've got a couple more minutes till we end the webinar.
I know it's quite short for this 1 hour. So if you want to engage me to ask more questions, feel free. Me on LinkedIn. We're more than happy to answer some of your questions.
Can I just? I would like to know, like, if the coachee would like to go on with the coaching sessions, what is how many hours or how much coaching does he need to actually commit himself? I mean, do we offer him the hours that he needs, or he say what he needs?
Okay, so this is in relation to the design of your coaching package, right? So let me just write this down. Designing of your coaching package. So it really depends on how you're building your coaching practice, right? It depends on how you're building your coaching practice. There's two schools of thoughts. One, it's either you go with what the client wants, or you tell the client, this is your package. Like I always do 12 sessions, and I always do it this way with all my clients. You get to choose, right? You do it in my session, or you do it as a package. So if the client has an issue, there's several issues that you want to work on, different sessions. You can open up the sessions to them and ask them. I usually work with 12 sessions. And for your situation you're facing, you can work with 6 sessions first. And if we need to extend, we extend to a 12 session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So someone asked me, how many sessions do I offer in the package? Do you want to know how I price?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Everybody love to find out that. Okay. So again, this is for typical audience. Okay. So I'm talking about in life coaching. So I have different packages for different for business is a different package. Let's talk about life coaching, right? So life coaching for one-on-one. This is what I package, right? I always do 12 sessions, 15 sessions across 12 months. Why do I do that? So as coaches, we're going to think about how do we help them measure. If I just do 1 session or 5 sessions in 1 month, it's very hard for me to measure their growth and progress. So I do it across 12 months, each session lasting about 60 minutes, sometimes plus minus here and there, right? But over 12 months. And they pay me $15,000. Then that's just for a normal life coaching, right? So my higher end clients, they will pay much more. So but I limit number of clients that I serve. I only serve a maximum of 10 clients because I also do coach trainings and other things. So when I go and position myself, I got to think about the market that I serve. So some people ask me, hey, why do you sell so cheap? I said, because I also choose my clients. Even though my clients can afford me, but I don't choose them, right? So I am picky about the clients because we need to make sure that there's ability to work together. If I cannot afford my time for them, I have my whole pool of coaches that I refer them to if they need coaching. Then again, remember just now, I talked about the 4-letter word. Who remember the 4-letter word, right? This is what I do. I help good coaches to become great coaches, be the only coach, right? The 4-letter word is the only coach in their blue ocean. So what I'm good at doing is helping coaches to create their blue ocean that they thrive in. So it's their only niche and nobody can compete within that blue ocean. So that they're the only coach and the only person that can help the client. So you got to be the coach that is the only one. So when the client sees you, that you are the only one for them, right? Not one of the many coaches, but the only one for their situation, which is why coaching is so powerful and coaching can effect changes in people's life. Okay, great. Any other questions?
Thank you, Jedi. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I love how you link everything back also to the ICF competency. And this makes sense because we are all equipped with coaching skills, right? To the rest of the participants, thank you for joining and participating in this webinar. I'm wishing all of you to become not only just great coaches, but be the only coach in your own blue ocean. Well, we'll be sending you the recording over the next few days of this session. If you have not get your tickets for ICW, the symposium this Friday, do get it now. I'll post the link shortly in the chat box as well. Any questions you have, we'll leave this chat box open for the next 5 minutes. Post them to Jedi. If not, then we'll be ending this session. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Jedidiah. So I see someone asked me about how to be the only coach. If you stay for the next 5 minutes, I'll tell you, okay? Okay, so just to sum up very quickly, one of the things that I do to help coaches is to be not just the only coach, right? So only coach is very easy. Only coach is just about focusing about your ocean. How do we identify the niche that is targeted for you? So the 2 questions that you ask yourself, who are you serving? So let me just write this down. Okay, so for those of you interested, you ask yourself this first question. Who are you serving? Number 2, are they a willing market? And number 3, are they an able market? Who are you serving? Can you serve them at the highest level? Are they a willing market, and are they able? If I price myself, so I've charged people overseas $5,000 for a session. I've charged people $100 a session. I've charged people $1,000 a session, because it depends on the market that I'm serving. Okay. So,
Hi.
yeah. Hi,
This is
Tricia.
Yeah. This is interesting because I do cancer coaching. And in my mindset, I want to serve, I'm almost like a SGH surgeon, but then at the same time, I also feel like I want to be a Glen Eagles private surgeon. So the market that I'm serving, I feel like, they are already having cancer and all those things. So in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe I should just serve them as the masses. And so there's that struggle to say.
So I totally understand. I totally understand where you're coming from, and the heart for this, I said, the heart of coaches is really sweet. We want to help as many people as possible. Like for example, for you, so we got to think of two factors. One is that do we want to create a sustainable coaching practice for ourselves to use that as to fund our business practice? So this is what I usually recommend coaches to do. First, figure out what market can you serve, and you can position yourself so they can charge that amount and to help the masses. Today, I go to different countries, some of the third world countries and second world countries, to train the people for free. And I'm able to do that because I'm actually like a Robin Hood, charging the
people. That's the happy place I'm in right now, where I am actually doing like a charity kind of thing where people pay me. I get the riches to pay for my services, and I help those for free. So, and I find that the word that you use, trust, is interesting, because quite a few friends just happily part with $1,000. They say, hey, Trisha, go ahead, take this money and go help those people who needs coaching. And I thought, oh, why are they? And that's that little doubt me, like, oh, they just parted $1,000 just like that. And that's just that. And I'm just trying to see how to make this more sustainable, where the rich can help, and then I can continue to serve those who actually need it.
Yeah, and in fact, that becomes your little blue ocean that you're forming already, right? So what I would then do with you is that I'll work with you and to create, how do you position yourself? That we tell these people who are rich, right? They may be running businesses and they have no time. They may want to work with you to funnel in the funds, then you can help those people that you can help.
Yeah. So I'm running our rich friends. So I'm just trying to see how to go about doing that. Yeah, but thank you. I'll really think through it, and then I think it's inspiring. Thank you.
Yeah, if anything, you just let me know. I can help you with. You can look me up on LinkedIn, so I can.
Thank you.
So I think there's one more person asking me.
All right. I think time's up.
Time's up. Yeah. So sad. Okay.
I've got more burning questions for Alex. You know where to find him. I believe he's on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah. Instagram, Facebook, anywhere, right? You can text me as well.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. Have a good afternoon. Thank you, Jedidiah. Thank you for today's session.
Thank you.